I'm still waiting for the results for Galt. It's never going to happen, is it? If I were them, I would delay this thing as long as possible. Keep milking Uline for all the money he's got. I popped the bubble. I don't think so. We still have Cupid. Rigetti's like, you know what Rigetti's like? Like, it's like you pin a guy down, put him in a headlock, and he's still like, kicking, fucking trying to throw you off him. And you're like, you need like 3 guys to hold this guy down. Yeah, IQ, I don't know, man. I have no axe to grind on these ever. Like, I have zero animus, zero personal, like, vendetta. People didn't believe me when I shorted Sava. They were like, why? Are you getting paid by a short? I'm like, no, I am the short. I am the big short. I did so much homework. And I know medicine, man. I've been looking at medicine 24 years, professionally. So I look at Galt, and I want you to look at the founder, David Platt. This guy started a company to make galectins or pectins for cancer. That company wasn't doing great, so he started a new one. That's what is Galectin today. This guy's nuts, by the way. And he wants the galectins at that point to work for HIV. No joke. HIV or cancer. He pivots to NASH, okay? Then he gets kicked out of Galectin Therapeutics, Inc., the stock you are long, GALT. And he goes and he starts a new company. And he says, no, pectins work for, what do you get? What do you know? COVID-19. Of course, none of these 4 things have ever worked. The publication in NASH, I think you're trolling me, but the subgroups are not legitimate. It's not promising. It's frightening. You spend any time on biotech, I think this guy's trolling me. You know that subgroups after the fact don't really pan out. In fact, I've shown that you can generate your own random number subgroups. You can do, for example, here, let me show you. In Excel, I'll put it in the model just so people understand this. This is what happened in the Cassava study. It's going to happen again in the Galt study. So let's just say rand between, okay, 0 and 100. Let's say this is the percentage reduction in a NASH score, okay? And we're just going to say this is what, 106 patients. Okay, and this is the average. And these are random numbers. Okay, so this is drug, and this is placebo. Okay, and we have drug and placebo. Drug reduced fibrosis by 52%, and placebo reduced it by 50%. Now, here's the crazy thing. We can do subgroup 1 and subgroup 2. And let's freeze these results, okay? Here they're identical. Let's just freeze these by copying, pasting. Okay, so these won't change now. So this is kind of what happened in the phase 2. Placebo drug had no difference, okay? But now, if we do the subgroup, so instead of taking all 106, what we're gonna do is you're gonna take the first, 53. Okay. And we're gonna do B6 to B50, 58? Okay. And here's the thing. If you take these subgroups, what you'll find is that subgroup 1 for placebo outperformed the drug. And I just picked a random part of this that looked good. If I do more subgroups, I could actually find the best subgroup. I just picked the first half. But if I want to pick the second half, subgroup 2, I can play these data games all day. And this is why people don't do this. This is why there's something called multiplicity corrections in clinical trials. You can't just take the same, you can't take this data and keep cutting it until you see what you want to see. You have to look at what you thought would happen. This is not a legitimate way of analyzing data. And if you spent a lot of time in biotech, you would know this. I'm guessing that you haven't spent a whole career in biotech, and that's fine. There's no point of a subgroup. The point of a subgroup is to make believe that your failed experiment succeeded, that it wasn't all a waste of money. So here, the drug group highly outperformed the placebo group, but I just picked a random mean. The mean, there's no difference. But this subgroup looks great, this subgroup looks awful. I just picked a random half of the data. And you could do this ad infinitum. You could say, okay, well, let me choose older patients versus younger patients. Let me choose patients who were in this dose group but not that dose group. Let me choose, and you keep doing this. And this is exactly what Sava did. And this is because people don't know what Bonferroni correction is. Sometimes called multiplicity correction or adjustment. And it basically means every time you do a new subgroup analysis, the p-value you have to hit for statistical significance goes up exponentially. And this is Stats 101, but very few people know Stats 101, and it sounds promising. And it's no different from saying, well, let me pick a game last night. Let's say you bet, I don't know, let's see, there was an NBA game last night. I by the way, I bet on it and I bet wrong on it. So, just so we're clear. And I got smoked. And so here's the box score. Of course it's not a scientifically valid approach. If you pick every subgroup, then that is what's going to happen. So I'll give you a great example. If you bet on the Bucks, you won. Well, I bet, of course, on the Thunder, so I lost. But if you look at the box score, team stats, you might say, well, in the first half, actually Milwaukee did outscore them in the first half. Okay, in the first quarter, Oklahoma City actually scored more than Milwaukee, so they're the better team. If I went to my bookie and I said, hey, Oklahoma City won, pay up. He says, what the hell are you talking about, Martin? They lost by 16. I said, well, no, hold on. I meant the first quarter. And I say, Martin, you can't just pick the one that worked after the fact. Right? Or say, well, we had a better free throw percentage. Look at that. We had 82% free throws and 67% for them. Let's just play the game over again, except make the free throws what's important. Think about how crazy this is. In Bonferroni correction, this is 101 statistics that nobody understands. It's something that just doesn't sort of sound right. But it's what science is all about. You can't just keep looking at here, it's 50 hypotheses, 20 hypotheses. You have to divide the alpha. In fact, I would say it's worse than this. Bonferroni is too kind. And how do I know this? Well, not only does the rationality make sense, not only does the statistics make sense, which is what medical people do, but 24 years of experience has shown me the subgroups never replicate, ever. This never happens. That the drug fails and then, oh, well, what do you know? We saw that if you change it around and you just do the mild patients or the people who didn't have varices at the beginning, oh, no, it'll work then. I'm willing to bet. I mean, I know you might be a successful investor in other fields, but if you're new to biotech, this is one of the top ways people get stuck in biotech. Over and over and over again, they don't understand this point. And we just lectured and taught thousands of people about cassava. And it's the same thing with Galectin. It's the same exact thing. In fact, it's worse. Because cassava sort of had an interesting molecule, kind of, maybe, and there was at least stuff to look at. Pectins are garbage. There is a paper that says that, and I put it in my paper, that says Galectin, that the pectins don't actually bind Galectin-3. Jonathan, it's the CEOs and the management team, they know this stuff. The guy, the CMO, he left the company for a reason. Dr. Was it Paul Budas? And actually, I know him. I thought about hiring him a while back. Well, Fire Songs, they have, cassava has cash. Galt doesn't have any cash. They actually have debt. So, all Uline, yeah, you can go to, I just tweeted it, IQ.